up everyone, it's your girl Shay here and welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. And as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm once again talking about live action anime. But before you turn this video off, no, I'm not talking about any new anime that are coming out with the live action. I'm actually talking about an article that I actually found this weekend that was made by thegamer.com. And in this article, they actually found a survey that was done in Japan where it asked about 1,000 anime fans, both male and female fans, did they have any anime that they would like to see adapted into a live action? And overwhelmingly, a majority of these people actually said no or none. Yes, there were a few votes for some anime, of course, like I think Jujutsu Kaisen was on there, as well as Demon Slayer, but a majority of people said no, like they don't want Hollywood to touch any anime and make it live action. Now, of course, like always, I will link the article down below, so you can definitely check out this article yourself if you want to read the entire article. But as someone who lives in the West and lives in the States, I have to say that if they were to actually do this survey here, it would probably be about the same. A majority of anime fans really do not like live action adaptations. A lot of them just do not turn out well. A lot of them are done really sloppily, or they change things about characters that most of us don't like, or they just don't get it right. And I think that goes for both Hollywood here in the West and also Hollywood, of course, in Japan. Because let's face it, they've also had their fair share of some pretty bad live actions. Now, for me personally, and this is my own personal opinion, and you don't have to agree with me on this, for me personally, I kind of say both yes and no. I kind of say no, that they shouldn't adapt any more live actions, only because, like I said, I've seen some pretty bad ones here in the West. For example, Dragon Ball Evolution was ridiculous. I did not like it. And of course, a lot of people, including myself, had some real issue with Netflix's adaptation of a live action Death Note. And also, of course, in Japan, they've done some pretty bad ones as well. And for me, the ones that I can really name is Attack on Titan. I actually really hated. But for me, that is a live action that I did hate the most. So they've done some pretty bad ones too. But the reason why I say yes is because we have seen definitely that a live action anime movie can be done and can be adapted fairly well. I can honestly say that here in the States, the two that I have enjoyed, once again, my own personal opinion, and while it's kind of up to debate if they should be considered anime movies or just like video game adaptation of live actions, but I'm lumping it in together. So for me in the States, I have to say Sonic the Hedgehog was done very well, and Detective Pikachu as well was done amazingly. I enjoyed both movies and thought they were great. And also in Japan, they've done some great live action as well. And two of them that I can say I really enjoyed was the live action adaptation of Bleach, as well as the original live action of Death Note. I thought those two were done very well and I enjoyed them a lot. Now I will say though, there is some things that could change or should change when it comes to live actions. And that is, to me, I think they need to make sure that they get some things correct. I know that a big thing that happens when live actions start taking place is that the director usually says they want to make a live action where the people who are already fans of this series enjoy it, but also is able to bring in new fans who had never heard of this series before. And I'm okay with that, but just be very careful on how you choose to do it. Only because we've seen this happen before. They focus so much on trying to bring new fans into the series that they completely forget about people who are already fans of the series and who already know what this entire series is all about, but they take out everything that made this series how it should be. So to me, that means like getting the characterization of characters correct. Don't change anything too much. To me, that's what directors need to make sure that they do, and the writers also make sure that they do, because people always blame the directors, but the writers are also the ones that choose to write the lines that the characters say, and sometimes they also get it wrong as well. But I also have to say that one of the other big things that directors, or just anyone in general who is choosing to try to make a live action anime series or live action anime movie, is make sure, to me, that you are also fans of the material. I mean, we've seen tons of fan-made like live actions on YouTube, and they're done so well. And the reason why is because The people that choose to do it are already fans of the series. They already knows what it's entailed. They know the characterization of the characters very well. They know what these characters like, don't like, how they would speak, and so on and so forth. So they put a lot of care and energy into it. Whereas if you take some different Hollywood directors that's just trying to make money off of it and aren't really big fans of the series or don't know a lot about it, then they sometimes don't know how to handle the property. And like I said sometimes, because sometimes live actions like the ones I've said have turned out well, and sometimes they're done by people who weren't like huge fans of the series before but decide to take the chance of making a live action of it. Now I know there are going to be some people that are going to say, well, for me, I think if a live action is done in Hollywood here in the West, please don't Americanize it. And I have to say, I have a love-hate relationship with this answer, or with this concept, I guess. I don't mind the Americanization of taking an anime and making it set in America, because there's tons of fairy tales where they are told in different parts of the world, but the concept and the overall arcing, but the overall arcing theme of this fairy tale is still the same. For example, Beauty and the Beast is told in several different parts of the world, but it still has the exact same premise. Some things are changed here and there, but overall, the overarching premise is still there on what Beauty and the Beast is all about. So I don't mind them taking a series and putting it set in Japan if the current conflict at hand can happen anywhere. But what I don't like is when they take the Americanization of it and then flip things around like the characters' personalities, which is exactly what they did in Netflix's adaptation of Death Note, which is what made so many people not like it. And that was because of the fact they took the main character, Light Yagami, and turned him into, instead of him being a, very smart character, very manipulative, very cunning, where you as the viewer had a love-hate relationship with him as a character because you wanted him to get away from the cops, but you also wanted him to get caught. So it was this weird love-hate relationship that you had with Light. But in the Netflix's adaptation of it, they changed that. They made Light a more brooding character. They made him where he didn't seem to be as smart as we thought Light should be. They also made it where Light was an outcast, whereas in the anime, he was so popular. He was popular with the girls. He was handsome. That was said throughout the manga that he always had groups of people around him. He had lots of girls that wanted to date him, but because he was so focused on his studies, he didn't really date anybody, especially when he was in high school. So to change that really changed how a lot of people felt about the character. And the same thing with Misa. Misa in the anime was extremely clingy to Light. She was a sloppy kind of a character with the way she handled how to do things with the Death Note. But then they flipped it in the Netflix adaptation and made her where she was more smart. She was smarter than Light, and was a lot more manipulative and just a lot more sly of a character. It made for a good horror or thriller film, but as a fan of Death Note, it just kind of turned everything upside down. So to me, that's where I'm like, okay, Americanize it, but don't change the characters' personalities. Just make it where it's set in a different place, but the premise is overwhelmingly the same. Another thing I have to say that things need to probably change to make a good series, where we've seen that this can be done before, is basically be careful on where you want a series to start and where you want a series to end, or a movie to end. So many times with anime adaptations for movies, they cram something that's about 50 episodes or longer into a movie that's about an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and there's so many details that are missing, or characters missing, or characters that are combined, that it makes it a really terrible movie. I mean, Attack on Titan suffered from this. They didn't have Levi in it at all, and a lot of people were kind of like, what? But the movie that took things like this into consideration, and it actually turned out to be a fairly well done movie, was actually the Bleach adaptation, or the Bleach live action adaptation, actually. Pretty much in that adaptation, they basically only took one arc of the entire series. They didn't try to make all 400 plus or 150 plus, however many episodes there are in Bleach, and cram it into an hour and a half or 2 hour movie. What they took was the very first arc of the entire series. They took the arc where Ichigo becomes a substitute Soul Reaper, and they ended it with Rukia basically being taken back to Soul Society to stand trial for giving her powers to Ichigo. And that is how it ends. it ended wonderfully. You didn't cram a whole bunch of stuff into it. You introduced characters that needed to be introduced. It also lets you get used to the characters that were introduced, like Ichigo, Rukia, Renji, and of course Byakuya, and of course I think also a little bit of Uryu as well. But it didn't like sit there and just try to cram everything into one, and you enjoyed it. And it also made you look forward to there being a second season, or sorry, made you look forward to there being a second movie. But so yeah, I think that should be done fairly well. That's some things that they can change, at least to me personally. Now, I know at this point in time, there are some other adaptations that have been announced. I know One Piece has an adaptation in the works, as well as Cowboy Bebop. Both of those are coming to Netflix, and both of those are going to be series. So they're not going to be movies. And that's another thing that I was also going to touch on, was that I feel like they should probably more likely go the route of like so many dramas have gone, where dramas have been made based off of anime, where they're basically just live action series, or just a live action TV show. And I feel like that would work a lot better. I know a lot of people were huge fans of the live action series or live action drama of Ouran High School Host Club, as well as Itazura na Kiss. I haven't seen either one of them, so I'm sorry, but I heard they're amazing. So yes, definitely I feel like they should go that route. Although at this point in time, with Netflix's adaptations not yet released, the jury stands out on whether or not here in the West we are still able to do that, or if it's going to be done well. And I also will say that I also feel like they also need to look and make sure what kind of series will work as a live action as opposed to won't work as a live action. Like, I've heard Rurouni Kenshin is a wonderful and great live action adaptation of the series, and while I haven't seen it, I've heard it is amazing. Trust me, my fiance has been trying to get me to watch the live action Rurouni Kenshin for the past few years now, or since we've basically been dating and engaged, and I still haven't watched it. But trust me, I'll get to it soon. But overall, because it's something that's a samurai, I feel like, yes, that can be done very well. But yeah, just be very, very careful when it comes to live actions. So that's why I say both yes and no. And yes, because of the fact that they should do some more live actions, because they've shown that they're able to do them well if they take certain things into consideration. But also no, because we've also overwhelmingly have seen what happens when a series gets a terrible live action, and then us as fans are left going, why? But also I will say that whenever live actions are done terribly, it gets a lot of people into watching the series because they want to know what happens next, or they just get interested in it and they want to know what continues on or how different it is. So hey, it's kind of a win-win for us as anime fans. But what do you guys think? I know a lot of people are probably going to bring up the whole concept of when it's done here in the West and the whitewashing of characters, but to me that is a whole different can of worms and a whole nother big issue, which I might talk about in the future. Let me know if you guys would like that. But overall, let me know your opinions on this. Do you think Hollywood in general, no matter where Hollywood is, whether it's here in the US or in Japan or just anywhere all over the world, if they should touch anime and make it live action, or do you think they should just leave it alone and keep it as it is because it's great exactly as it is? But yeah, let me know, comment below. And I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me, and that's perfectly fine, but yeah, just why not? Just let me know what you guys think. And like I said, the article is linked below if you want to read the entire article and see what the entire article kind of had to say, which it didn't say anything really different than what I've heard already before. So yeah, do that. Also linked below, I'll have links to my social media accounts. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, a TikTok, and also a blog. You guys already know what I post on my TikTok and my Instagram, or at least like my TikTok and my Instagram reels. Just a lot of little mini reviews of anime and manga that I tend to finish, so feel free to check that out too. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know mostly what you guys like and what you guys don't like, as well as please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I always tell you guys, stay positive, stay nerdy, and in today's day and age, stay healthy, and of course, please stay safe. All right, you guys, bye.